Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksu Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Bhanti Svaha Bhantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my very dearmost friend. We say in Old English, bosom buddy, Tukaram Prabhu, for once again inviting me to this wonderful festival of Panihati. I have many nice memories of participating in this event over the years, and somehow I get invited back every year. And I'm also happy to be in the association of such an august assembly of devotees who I was observing or relishing kirtan. Actually relishing, there's some namruchi here. Goswami encourages us to, as quickly as possible, develop taste for the holy names. Kali Kali Namru, Krishna Avatar. Why? Because in the age of Kali, Kaviraj Goswami describes Kali Kali Namru, that the avatar for this age, of course, is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he's stressing the holy name in this verse. The avatar for this age is Srinam, Prabhu. When we say Prabhu, we mean person. And Krishna, Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, he's fully present in the sound of his name. It's a very, Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna and your life will be sublime. Somewhere along the line, somebody changed it to be happy. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. But Prabhupada actually said, chant Hare Krishna and your life will be sublime. Happy is nice, but sublimity is very internal. So, Shantushti, you become fully satisfied because you're reconnected with your Heavenly Father. You're reconnected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So to see here in this temple before the beautiful deities of Panchatattva, it only makes sense. You're chanting Hare Krishna in front of those who brought this holy name to the world, the Panchatattva. To see you relishing the kirtan is so satisfying. And of course here you have the mood of Indra Prabhu. I think the second generation very much appreciated Indra Prabhu's contribution and example of Namruchi. He actually had taste for the holy names. We grew up a little bit together. We weren't always together, but in the 70s we met and we decided we would like to become attached to the holy names. So in the early days, we would exchange melodies. Mundane people, young people in my age, they exchange baseball cards. Even as teenagers, baseball cards. But in our society, we sometimes trade melodies. So he had his truck at one point in New York City. He was going out with a truck on which he had a sound system, and he would sit there and play harmonium. Someone would play mridanga and kartals, and he'd go throughout New York City with these melodies that he'd come up with. And I was serving in Europe, and I would also come up with melodies. Prabhupada encouraged Vishnujan Maharaj. Vishnujan Maharaj, he asked Prabhupada, we have our Bengali melodies from Bengal, but can I don't want to say make up, can I be inspired to come up with certain melodies? But I said, yes. So you can do also. So it's authorized. So So we would exchange melodies through the years, and then eventually he went to Vrindavan and he went away, became light years ahead of me in Krishna consciousness because of Mahamaruchi, because of his faith in chanting the holy names and the time that he gave. He would chant, sometimes 24 hours a day. So to come here and see that some of you have taken up that mood, it's very pleasing. He's a legend. And to take up that mood and that spirit, very unique. I don't see this in Europe. I don't see it in Australia or Russia. It's kind of like, this is like a spring comes up from the ground and bubbles up the water. Here you have that mood behind you. So thank you very much for doing that. And may God bless you. May Panchatattva bless you to get that Namruchi, because we need it desperately. Janaka Pandit says, you can only give up something if you get something better. So we also have to practice renunciation. As Jesus said in the Bible, you can't enjoy mammon, meaning sense materialism, and God at the same time. It doesn't work. It's not the formula. You have to give up mammon. You have to give up sense material desires, but it's a challenge. Krishna says, Daviyesha gunamayi, mama maya duratyaya. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, meaning matter, material world, it's very difficult to overcome. But one who surrenders unto me can easily overcome it. So when God says something really significant, it's very difficult to conquer our material nature, our material desires, our attraction to this world. It's almost impossible in Kali Yuga. But it's possible by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because he's even more merciful than Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't accept our offenses. He only accepts our Savior. And the Savior for this age is Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam. Kalo nasteva, 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 gatirandava. Chanting Hare Krishna. So here in this church, it used to be a church. I remember I used to surf. I used to surf this area when I was a teenager. I remember passing this building. It was a church. And now it's also divine. It's a sanctum. It's a Hare Krishna temple. Navu's going on. So there's something special about this building. Our Christian brothers and sisters, they were singing, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. It's very nice. We took over and we're singing, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So to enter into this building is to enter into sanctity. It's a sanctuary. The ether is permeated with God's name. Even if there's no kirtan going on, you can sit here because the ether is permeated by Krishna's sweet holy names. Such a sanctuary. We should spend as much time as possible in this building, in this temple room. You should be here for every Sunday feast, not just the Panihati. You should always come. I remember one time, Prabhupada, unfortunately, there was a court case about proprietorship of the land, our property in Mayapur. So he had to come to court to defend that this was our property. It was given, we paid for it, but there was some gundas, won't go into detail. It was a court case. So Prabhupada had to go to the court in Kolkata with his disciples. Dharma, stand up for Krishna, Krishna's property. So when he walked into the courtroom with his disciples, Prabhupada stopped. Maybe 10 feet into the courtroom. He said, this place is contaminated. The devotees looking around. Did they sweep the floor? And they wondered, what does Prabhupada mean? They're looking around. But this is contaminated. He said, because lawyers mean lies. If you're a lawyer, please don't take that personally. You're a Hare Krishna lawyer, you're defending Dharma, it's your work, it's okay. We know you have a clean heart. Prabhupada said, lawyer means liar. So the devotees didn't know what to Prabhupada said, I'm not going in. It's too contaminated. So the devotees said, Prabhupada, you have to go. No, you have to go at the court case. Prabhupada said, okay, the solution is kirtan. You know, when you walk into a courtroom, stand, you know, when the judge comes in, everyone stands. It's very formal, especially the British laws were there. They had this formal dress, the lawyers, the courtroom. Prabhupada said, kirtan. What? Kirtan! So they ran outside in the bus, they had some kartals and their donkeys. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare, like that. And they marched through the courtroom. Prabhupada said, like this. He'd sometimes, to get us going, you know, Prabhupada would go like this. As soon as he did that, the kirtan exploded. I met many occasions. I saw it in Paris, in Geneva, and Rome. We were having kirtan, you know, a little nervous in front of Prabhupada, and everything exploded. The devotees were touching the ceilings, almost. So the kirtan was raging, and I was told the judge was like this. And Prabhupada was singing too. And Prabhupada recommends that the chanting of the holy names is especially beneficial if it's heard from the lips of a pure devotee. I always remember that. The holy names are particularly potent when heard from the lips of a pure devotee. And that's why I sometimes lament as I travel the world and visit different countries and different temples that you don't hear Prabhupada's bhajans so much anymore. No disrespect to the kirtan leaders. I love every kirtan leader today. My heart goes boom, boom, boom. It's so nice. But we should also remember Prabhupada's pure sound vibration. I mean, it's still in my mind. Vandeham Shri Guru Sita Parakamanam Shri Guru Vaishnavam. You know that bhajan? Chintamani Pakara Sarva Sukha Laksha Viteshu. So it's nice to have those. Of course, when there's a kirtan like this, we have our kirtan, but during the day, for the pleasure of Panchatattva, who so much love their pure devotee, Senapati, general, who brought this wave, this tsunami wave of kirtan to the West. Certainly they love Srila Prabhupada as he loves them. They love to hear his kirtan playing on the speakers throughout the day. There's enough bhajans that we can do that, because to hear even a recording, because I heard Gayatri Mantra in a tape. Prabhupada couldn't travel the world so much to give Brahman initiation personally, so I heard it through a tape, and I was questioning, but is it the same? A temple president? This is Prabhupada's policy, of course it's perfect. So even a tape recording is enough. When my godbrother Jayananda Prabhu passed this world to join Prabhupada in his Nitya Leela, his eternal pastimes, he was in a room across, he was in his quarters across from the Los Angeles temple. And the devotees, he had leukemia and he was on his last hours, no one knew. And the devotees went to Mangal Arati. And when they came back from Mangal Arati, Jayananda Prabhu had passed from this world. Prabhupada said he was ISKCON's first saint. ISKCON's first saint. For all the service he did in establishing Rath Yatra in America and this around the world. So, fortunately, when the devotees went to Mangal Arati, they put a tape of Prabhupada on, singing Hare Krishna. So when Jayananda left, he was hearing a tape recording of Prabhupada singing Hare Krishna. My point is that Prabhupada's sound vibration is as perfect through a tape recording as it was when he was personally with us. So later, Prabhupada wrote a posthumous letter to Jayananda. Posthumous means after someone departs, some words are spoken or a letter is written, like when my godbrothers or god sisters depart, I always write something directly to them. I don't speak, in the past. You have now left us, you are there, you are with Prabhupada. So Prabhupada wrote a posthumous letter to Jayananda. My dear Jayananda, please accept my blessings. I remember you were the first one to come forward with a donation for the publication of my Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much. If you had any material desires in your heart when you left this world, then you've gone to Svargaloka. Just see. Even if you have those nasty desires in your heart, you haven't conquered over the desires. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlavaha. Krishna says after many lifetimes, one comes to the point of Atmanivedana, full surrender. So it may be that we don't finish Krishna consciousness in this lifetime. But that's okay, we'll be born in a devotee family and we can continue where we left off. Prabhupada said, my dear Jayananda, if you had any material desires in your heart when you died, you've gone to Svargaloka, the planets of the Devatas, where you can fulfill those desires, but more importantly, you can finish your Krishna consciousness and go back to Goloka. Said like that. So do we have anything to worry about? Should we be afraid of death? People are afraid of death because they don't know what's going to happen. And they should be afraid even if they know they believe in reincarnation because they haven't taken up the safeguard, the beauty of devotional service. So it's a little dicey what's going to happen. But we know. Arjuna asked the question, when I die, I'm just cast by the wind to some unknown destination? Krishna says no. You'll be born into a family of wealthy merchants where you don't have to struggle for the necessities of life and you can continue your Krishna consciousness. Or you'll be born into a family of transcendentalists. Verily, such a birth is rare. And many of the young people sitting in here today were born into devotee families. All the children of Tukaram and Radhika, they're all special souls. Give them a big round of applause. They're all souls. I asked Tamal Krishna Maharaj, I was just about to start initiating, and I said, is there any difficulty in being a spiritual master? He said, yes. Interesting. He said, yes. Sometimes you have to accept as a disciple someone who's more advanced than you. You don't know who's taking their last birth. We are all the pioneers of Krishna consciousness. We were born in Malaysia Yamuna. Who are we? We're just caught up in this unfathomable mercy of His divine grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And we can proudly call ourselves His disciples, but you never know who's sitting next to you. So anyway, Prabhupada said, if you had any material desires, Svargaloka, and from there you can transfer yourself to Goloka. But because you were hearing the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, I say you've gone to Krishna Loka. It was recording. There was a repetition of Prabhupada chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So all glories to ISKCON's kirtaneers. They're keeping the tsunami flowing, a tsunami of mercy. The holy names are sweeping this planet. People are being caught up in it, even unknowingly. But always remember the pure sound vibration of His divine grace when He chants, even in a recorded bhajan. So please, in your homes, they're online. Prabhupada's. Someone said the other day, how do I find Prabhupada's bhajans? I said, what? They're online. Seek and ye shall find. So here, this is like, I remember one time one devotee told me, this Laguna Beach temple is a chakra. It's a chakra. Chakra means like the Sudarshan chakra is spinning. Actually, Sudarshan chakra had one seva to Giriraj Govardhan, Krishna's weapon. He had a seva to Giriraj Govardhan. In that, when Indra all the rain was pouring down to inundate Vrindavan as a punishment because the cowherd people stopped worshipping Indra and they started worshipping Govardhan Hill, because from there came all the green grass with their cows and the flowing rivers. You know the pastime. Indra, this rain was pouring down in buckets, we say in America, like cats and dogs. So, to protect the inhabitants of Vrindavan, Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. But still, there was so much water that was coming down on the sides, it was flooding underneath. Even Giriraj. The flooding was even coming and everyone was getting wet underneath. So Sudarshan Chakra came and spun above Giriraj Govardhan. And that way the rain went like that. Outside of Vrindavan, some other part of Sudarshan Chakra. So this is like a chakra. And it's a sanctified atmosphere. As soon as the kirtan stopped, Prabhupada said stop. By that time the judge was like, in the courtroom. The kirtan stopped, and Prabhupada said, now it's auspicious. All the lies, all the diplomacy, and the envy, and the hatred, and the anguish, and the stress of a courtroom, if there's any place where there's stressing in a court, Prabhupada said, it's auspicious. That's the power of the holy name. Everything becomes purified. We have to discuss these things so our shraddha, our faith in the holy name, increases day by day, so that when we sit down and chant our japa is better than the day before. That's one rule, unspoken rule in japa. I'm going to make sure that my japa is more focused and comes from the heart more than it did the day before. So these type of discussions, they help us develop our faith in Sri Ram. Prabhupada gave me a personal instruction. He said, preach boldly and have faith in the holy names. So my whole life has been dedicated to that simple instruction. Like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati told Prabhupada, if you ever get money, print books. And look what's come from that instruction. Elegance is truth, spoken concisely, according to Kaviraj Goswami. So thank you for keeping Indra's spirit alive here. And thank you for all the kirtans. Thank you for all the seva. I mean, you're really fortunate. There's not a lot of Panchatattva deities around the world. And Panchatattva, I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more merciful than Krishna himself. And Nitai is even more merciful than Garuda. Because we see in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, as the Yuga Avatar, he made so many concessions. So many concessions. You don't do this, you don't have to do this, just chant Hare Krishna. And be civilized beings. Follow regular principles, that means civilized. But he was speaking to the intelligentsia. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Maharaj Bhattapurudra. He was speaking to the elite, the 1%. The Nitai. Nitai, he went to the favelas, we say in Rio de Janeiro, he went to the favelas. He went to we say in South Africa, the townships in KwaZulu-Natal, the kind of places that he went. He went to the bad districts to deliver Jagai and Madai. Why? Not just to deliver Jagai and Madai, yes, but to show the power of the holy names. By delivering Jagai and Madai, that gives more credit to the holy names than delivering Sarvabhauma and Bhattacharya, with all due respect. Nitai. Nitai was very, so you have Nitai here. One time Prabhupada told us in Detroit, he wrote us a letter. He said, you go to India and you purchase Gaur Nitai deities, small deities, and you go door to door in the ghettos of Detroit and you sell Gaur Nitai door to door. I was, what? You're going to do what? Sell Gaur Nitai deities door to door. You just tell the people, this is God. And you offer him a flower and a stick of incense. He actually said that. You go door to door, because Gaur Nitai just see their unfathomable mercy. It's called a yuga. They don't accept offenses. Don't take advantage of that. They don't consider our offenses. They only consider what savor we do for them. And if you take up their mission, how dear you become to their hearts. That's why everyone should experience some type of preaching. Either you cook for the preachers, invite the preachers into your home, or donate to the preaching, or distribute, because that's where the mercy comes from. Because that was their mission. That was Prabhupada's mission. Prabhupada's an eternal resident of Vrindavan. One time they asked Prabhupada, who are you in the spiritual world? And Prabhupada said, if I told you, you'd faint. But he came here. What's he doing in Goloka? We're not meant to speculate, but you know how the gopis and the cowherd boys, they serve even simple activities with so much bhav, so much devotion. Even the smallest of activities is supremely sublime. But he came here and he waited in line for a shower from the Mott Street boys who joined him at 26 2nd Avenue. He waited in line for the shower. He cooked the feast. He served the feast, and when everybody went home, he would clean up. And eventually, we took over. We were begging for service. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Give me service. That's what it means. Let me reconnect. I'm your eternal servant. Without a master, who am I? There's no joy in life unless I have a master. So we serve the most glorious position, the best position we can achieve is to be the servant of the glorious master. That's all. We don't want name, fame, wealth. We just want to be the servant of a glorious master. That's Santushti. But then Prabhupada said, out! The Mott Street boys. You see on that video? Something 2nd Avenue, there's a special video. Brahmananda's playing a big drum and they're coming out. Out! Give it, share it. And then Srinath Prabhu, and the mercy comes from Nitai. Just like I see in India, I spend a lot of time in India, there's a lot of stores. Agarwal and Sons. Isn't it? The Indian people here? Mr. Sharma and Sons. That's just a tradition. The sons take up the business of the father. So who's our father? Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Bhagavata Sri Srimad. Look at see the sun shining. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada means master who all the other masters sit. He's taking us on the eternal Jaladuta back to the spiritual world. So if you chant Hare Krishna and you share the mantra, then Panchatattva, then you feel the real mercy. Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that the first experience one has in pure devotional service is not crying tears, but freedom. from the miseries of material life. If you're drowning in an ocean and somebody pulls you out, you don't have to be a mile high to be satisfied. You're just 1 inch above the water. It's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. We don't have to wait for Raganuga Bhakti. Yes, Prem Bhakti. We're experiencing freedom by practicing the regulative principles of freedom, giving up sinful life and the reactions that come in your face from it. We're experiencing freedom. Freedom! You're just a little bit above. So that's the first experience. So it's nice. But freedom from, like peacefulness, that's not our goal. We want ecstasy. When I first joined coming to the temple, I remember they had the Das avatars on the wall, the paintings. And I was going from Kurma to Matsya to Vamanadev, and this is nice. And then I came to Buddha. I was a 19-year-old boy struggling in this world, just out of the military, all kinds of PSTDs, psychological problems from the army. Buddha, peace. And one devotee tapped me on the shoulder. He said, Brian, look at this photo. It was a picture like this, Panchatattva, dancing in ecstasy. And I said, yeah, that's what I want. I don't want just be, oh, wonderful I am. I don't want to be disrespectful to the mantra, but this is what we want, ecstasy. So that you get by participating in the yajna itself. Here we prepare ourselves for battle every morning. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Prabhupada chanted on these beats. This is my life. If you offer me $5 million, I would not. If you offer me $1 billion, I would not. But Prabhupada said, these beads, those beads, once you get initiated into the Hare Krishna mantra, it's an eternal blessing. So we prepare for battle. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Kavacha. Everyone likes Nishinga Kavachas. This is the Kavacha. Just like Lakshman, when he left to join Ram in the search for Marichi the deer, he took his sword and in the dust he made a circle around Sita with mantra also. Mantra is so powerful. The Prabhupada has said that in the age of Kali, everything deteriorates except two things. The potency of jewels, if you're an astrologer, you'll love that. The potency of jewels and mantras. They're never affected, even by the evils. They're always supremely pure. So Ravana came, the greatest asura that this creation has ever known, and as a delicate princess, Sita, soft, tender skin, bare feet, had never been out of the palace, going through this whole experience, couldn't touch a hair on her head. Because of what? Mantra. So mantra protects us from anxiety, from stress, from doubt, etc. But more important, deep within the heart is the golden seed of prem, of bhakti, of love for the divine couple, love for Krishna Balaram. And by watering that creeper, Prabhupada said, it grows, it pops out of the ground, and that creeper grows and grows and grows, breaks through the covering of the material world, goes through the Vaikuntha planets for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. It doesn't stop in Vaikuntha because that's the official kingdom of God. Lakshmi Narayan, Surya Sur. And it goes to Goloka, the playground of Krishna, where you can wrestle with him and dance with him and hold his hand in a transcendental way as a divine lover. That's the ultimate benefit of chanting Hare Krishna. And that blessing comes from sharing the Maha Mantra. We become strong, and we go out in various ways, and we support the preachers. And Srinath Prabhu, meaning a person, fully conscious, God himself, dancing on the tip of our tongues, he blesses you. We make more advancement by blessings than we do our own attempts at being good sadhakas. We should be good sadhakas, but really, it comes from blessings, from our superiors. We are blessed. They're compassionate. They're very compassionate. Mahaprabhu's the most compassionate because he comes in the mood of Radha. Radha is the tender-hearted feature of Krishna. He's soft like a rose, but he's hard like a thunderbolt sometimes. But Radha, she's the compassionate feature of the Absolute Truth. So Mahaprabhu, when he comes to this world, thank God, he is God, but thank God, oh my God, OMG, he comes in her mood. And her mood, Prabhupada said her mood is such that when she's in the spiritual world, Prabhupada said, in Los Angeles he said it, that when Radharani sees a new bhaktin walk into the temple premises and walks in the temple and thinks, this is cool. I didn't say that, but this is so nice, these people. I like the colors. I like the song. I love the food. What's it called? Prasadam? And she thinks, maybe I'll stay here. And she stays overnight, and she doesn't go home. So Radharani says, Krishna, look, you see that young bhaktin? She just joined 2 days ago. Please give her your mercy. And Krishna does what Radha says. Radha doesn't do what Krishna says. That's their relationship. She has the prem. She controls Krishna by her. She's got Krishna wrapped around her little finger. So Krishna does what Radha says. So Krishna looks down to, whatever the address is in Watsig Avenue in Los Angeles, and he blesses that girl. This is the mood. So there's unlimited mercy. One time Prabhupada's father said to him, my son, the Lord, in his various incarnations, he has so many hands. Krishna has so many hands. If he wants to give you mercy from all his hands, how much your 2 little hands can hold? You think about it. We have so much mercy. We have Guru, we have Gauranga, we have Prabhupada, we have the holy names, we have Shastra, we have Vaishnava Sangha, we have temples, we have Braj, we have Mayapur. We have hope for the future. What hope do materialistic people have? Their destiny is such that when they die, they have to accept the good, the bad, and the ugly reactions to what they did. Our slate's clean when we take initiation. The chalkboard is there. It's wiped clean by mercy of Guru and Gauranga. A clean slate. And if we stick to the rules and regulations and we chant every day and we serve to our capacity, our future is very bright. We have nothing to fear. I had a dream, I don't like to speak about myself, but anyway. I had a dream not long ago that I was in a tunnel and there were like doors on either side. And I was running and the monsters were chasing me. Sometimes you have those nightmares. When I was a kid, I don't know why I had this one. The monsters were chasing me. And I was running down this hallway and I was trying to open the doors and they weren't opening. And the monsters were getting closer and closer. And I was chanting kind of, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Not very loudly, but at least I was chanting. and then the dream was going on, it seemed like hours, but of course dreams don't last that long. And suddenly at the end of the hallway, a door opened. This light just, you couldn't see anything else. This light came. And my eyes adjusted and there was Prabhupada. He said, come on. So I started running. He said, chant louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I was chanting. He said, chant louder. Like when we would chant japa, on that tape, Prabhupada says, sit properly. Right? So whenever everyone sits, chant louder, chant louder. The monsters are coming. And then I get to the door, Prabhupada reaches out, he pulls me into the other side. And the light, bright light goes away, and it's all beautiful trees and birds and peacocks. And Prabhupada said, welcome to Vrindavan. And then I woke up. Haribol! So it's just a dream. It's just a dream. But Prabhupada said, dreams are nonsense. You see a mountain, you see a piece of gold, and you dream of a golden mountain. But he said, when you dream about Krishna, or you dream about the spiritual master, he said, that's very nice. So I just took it as an encouragement. And to chant louder. I started chanting louder, and my japa improved. Now people ask me, how do I improve my japa? Chant louder! Like that. So that's our future. We spend so much time lamenting for what we don't have. And that's human nature. You're never complete. Believe me. You're never complete in this world. In my travels, I met kings and queens and professors and scientists and, so many people, the 1%. And they often say, Maharaj, it's nice talking to you. Can I reveal my heart? Yeah, go ahead. They say, I have everything, but something's missing. I'm empty. I'm empty. And I say, yes, because you don't have love. You're a big person, but everyone's adoring you, but you don't. Many times they're alone, actually. And love is the highest happiness. And I've seen that if you have everything, but you don't have someone to love, you cannot be happy. But I've seen, in relative sense, that, like I was mentioning the favelas of Rio de Janeiro, I was there. I was in the Zululand, KwaZulu town, they call Ghana Kula Kula. And I saw how the Zulus, they live on the ground, in grass huts. The water, they have to walk 2 miles to get water. And I've been in the Gobi Desert, in Mongolia, and I see that people may be very poor and they don't have anything but the shirt on their back, but they have a beautiful wife or a nice husband or a friend or children or neighbors or compatriots. If they have someone to love, they're happy. So even in this world, love is the highest happiness. But there's the story of Romeo and Juliet. That was like a match made in heaven. But it ended on a bad note. So that's Hard Talk. Here in America, you have those shows called Hard Talk, where they come together and they talk. That's life. So Prabhupada told my godbrother, Satsvarup Maharaj, when he gave him his danda in the renounced order of life, he said, never look back and think that you've left anything important behind. And never envy the position of those people out there who seem to be enjoying it. Real happiness is love and Krishna consciousness. So yes, we have loving relationships, especially as devotees. That's like the beginning. We have our spiritual master. He's our master, but because he's delivering us, our attraction to him, our affection for him turns into love as well. And that love propels us into the divine world of Goloka Vrindavan, where love reigns supreme. And there's no concept of Romeo and Juliet. You're loving the most lovable person, Krishna, and he's reciprocating fully. And the rasa dance, the gopis, they have the most love for Krishna. I was listening to a tape. Prabhupada was talking about the love of devotees in different capacities, different ways they can love Krishna. Then Prabhupada said, but the gopis, their love was such, they never asked Krishna for anything. And Prabhupada broke down crying. It was a 2-minute lecture. So the love in the spiritual world, we really can't grasp it. we're getting it, but we're like children with, what can we see? When you're a baby, when you're born, mothers will tell you, the baby has eyes, but he can't see form. He can barely see colors. And as the eyes mature after a few weeks, then he sees mommy, and the relationship goes deeper. As a teenager, if he's a good boy, then mommy becomes. So we're like infants. Our eyes are just being open. By the scaffold of knowledge from Guru, our eyes are being opened. We're gradually beginning to see, but until then we have to have faith. One time one of my god sisters, she said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, is it true that God's a little boy? And he plays on his mother's lap and sucks her breast? And he has a little peacock feather in his hair? God the Almighty? And he has lotus eyes? And he's blue, black like the monster? Is that true, Prabhupada? She's a new devotee. Prabhupada. He said, my dear spiritual daughter, do you think I would cheat you? And she blushed. She said, no, Prabhupada, I don't. I believe you. Prabhupada said, what do they know, these scientists? They're like an ant in the corner. What can they really say about the universe? Yes, the engineer has 4 heads. Yes, Shiva, he has snakes and spiders on his body. And there are devatas. There is that faith. That faith begins by having faith in the Yuga Dharma. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And everything will be revealed by chanting. All the desires in your heart, not the bad ones, but the good ones you don't even know yet. You don't even know what are your deeper spiritual desires. You're getting some idea, but you study Prabhupada's life, and you know what is to have. One time we were having kirtan in Detroit, and Prabhupada was sitting on the Vyasasana, and I was sitting right like that, or in front. Jaya Ram, Prabhupada saying, he played the kartan. You couldn't imagine. He'd take the silver cup and he'd pour it, and the stream of water would come like that. I said, what is this? That's against the law of nature. It went like that. It was mystical. Prabhupada was mystical. He always smelled like sandalwood paste any time of the day. So he's playing the kartals, and I'm watching. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janabalaba Girivardhani Yashodanandana Brajajana Yumanatira Manatari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja. And I turned to my godmother and I said, Prabhupada's having a stroke. I said, no. This is ecstasy. Generally, the pure devotees, they don't show those symptoms. Even they have mystic powers. A pure devotee has all the 8 siddhis, but they don't show it, and they certainly don't show their ecstatic symptoms because they want the people to follow them for the gyan they're giving. Our relationship with our spiritual master is such that our connection, like the umbilical cord, he's giving us knowledge. Armed with knowledge, stand and fight. That's our relationship with you. He doesn't necessarily solve our marriage problems and help in the business. He can give some good advice. But his business is to enlighten us with knowledge, how to get out of the darkness into the light, how to get out of ignorance into truth, how to get out of the material world into the spiritual world. But sometimes, as Jesus said, my cup runneth over with love. So we saw sometimes, and Prabhupada was crying, that tears were running. I was a new devotee, but when I saw that, my whatever hesitancy I had, whatever doubts I had, it was like the sun just whoop, appeared in the sky, and all the clouds just went away. All my doubts went away. Just seeing a pure devotee in this world, singing from his heart for Krishna. So these things, they're waiting for us. Prabhupada wanted us to distribute books, distribute books, distribute books. He wanted us to become Sankirtan. He also wanted us to become pure devotees. So we have two things to work on. Become pure devotees and become powerful representatives. The sons and daughters of the founder Acharya. Not Agarwal and sons. Prabhupada and his family and spread Krishna consciousness all over. How do we do both of those things? It's very simple, 3 words. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. So today's a good day to do it. It's the Panihati festival. Actually, it's not. It's next weekend. But we don't need a festival to chant Hare Krishna. We can chant Hare Krishna 24/7, 365, 100 years, if we could. And one day we will, in Goloka Vrindavan. But we can take advantage of this moment, and we can sing. What time's the arti? I'll sing a little bit. I'm not really a good singer, but I'll sing. And just try to remember some of these instructions as we're chanting. That knowledge, it's like it destroys the ignorance, and it gives us a taste, and from that, our future is very bright. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. The melody I'd like to sing, I'll just be frank with you, I can never sing Indra's melodies. He'd say, come on, Indra, come on, listen. I go, and I'd say, sing my melodies. He said, I like your melodies. So, we exchanged melodies we never sang. We just appreciated each other. That's love. Love is reciprocal. And we miss Indra very much. So thank you again for keeping his presence here. So here we go. This was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's favorite melody. Do you have your dancing shoes? Srila Prabhupada ki, Panihata Festival ki, Prem Dan, Purinam Sankirtan Yagya ki, Kali Kali Nam Rup Krishna Avatara ki, Oh Premanande!